systems. So what I do is I help connect some of our commercial real estate clients to our programmers. What this helps do is automate their system and optimize it so that they have all their business needs ironed out. This could include really simple fixes like one-time data issues up until automating how they do their billing or how they can summarize their reports and whatever needs that they have. I got to this point primarily because of my interest in software. In college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I graduated with a psychology degree. That moved me into working a couple of entry-level positions, kind of getting a feel for what I wanted to do. Ultimately, I started doing a lot of operations and helping with specific client needs.
Yeah.
So I think my career was catered kind of to client success, customer success. Then I had a friend who actually worked at Yardi prior to me applying, and she said that she really enjoyed doing what she was doing. So I wanted to try it out myself. In the meantime, I was taking these like Coursera courses to, kind of iron out things like project management, UX.
Yes.
Keep my soft skills also brushed up in my current job. And ultimately, I just interviewed and I landed a job at Yardi, and yeah, I've been here since.
That's good.
About 3 years.
So as you said, you work in real estate with Yardi?
Yes, yeah. So we work with commercial real estate clients.
So you work at home? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice.
We're on a hybrid schedule, so we go in once a month.
Oh, so you go in the office and you stay at home though?
Yeah, for the most part.
Oh, that sounds good. So how many years of college did you do for that career?
So I did my undergrad, so 4 years.
4 years? And then did you take any internships just to get to where you are?
No internships.
No,
it was just kind of working right out of college. While I was in college, I had an IT job. Yeah.
How do you think you would like build like relationships with people to get connections to like where to get me to like a better place, like how you got to you, like where you at Yardi?
So I mean, building connections, yeah, super important. I think it has to be very natural. I think there's a pretty good like definition for like it's like sucking up to someone versus sharing mutual sort of interests. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you meet someone new and you guys do have a shared interest, it can go a long way. It's almost like this mutual relationship where you can provide something for the other person while they can provide something else for you. And it's kind of just life experiences, It's like what you've been bringing up to this point. During my interview with Yardi, I connected with the managers because of my project management experience, but also like my experience with just clients in general.
Yeah.
My friend who recommended me to the job, she was aware of what I could do. So I think that helps a long way, It's like credibility. Your network isn't going to vouch for you unless they are aware that you're actually capable of doing something.
So networking is a big thing?
Yes, it's huge. Because your credibility is like what's on paper can only get you so far versus what someone else says about you when you're not in there.
So what do you think are some top skills you would need like for your career?
I think a big one nowadays is adaptability. The world's always changing. It's whether or not you're willing to actually learn and challenge yourself to do something that might have been uncomfortable beforehand.
Okay. How do you approach identifying upsell or cross-sell opportunities without being overly like focused on the sale?
I think the biggest part is just identifying solutions because you're not going to be offering some type of additional product or some type of additional solution unless you know for a fact that it could actually help your client or help your user do something that they previously had some type of pain point on,
Yeah. And like overall, how do you manage like your time?
I mean, at first, like it's hard, like you get a bunch of things that like get thrown at you at once. But I think something that helped a lot that my fiance they got me into was kind of just outlining everything that you have, setting up actual concrete timelines for each of them, so that you not only are aware of how much time you've been putting in, but if anyone asks, like your manager asks, like for status reports and stuff, you can actually tell them like, this is what I've been working on. This is how far I've gotten into this. Had to pause it while I work on this other assignment. But as long as it's all fleshed out and it's all out there, and progress is being made pretty evenly distributed, then it's all manageable.
Yeah, overall good things. Okay, in your view, what sets a great technical account manager apart from a good one?
I think it's like looking at things beyond what makes. Okay, so like a technical account manager, you have like your base sort of responsibilities. It's always looking for something that sets you apart in terms of like, let's look at the standard for a senior technical account manager. What do they do differently? Always looking for what is going to push that bar a little bit higher, because you want someone else that's a technical account manager to be at a higher standard as well. Because if you only push yourself so far, that role really doesn't have too much depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you set the standard a little bit higher and you're like, okay, let me be more proactive about reaching out to my clients, or let me be more proactive about understanding their business needs, because that comes number one, right? Like we're all trying to like push the envelope a little bit more and see what we can do to raise everyone's standards.
Yes. And how would you handle a situation where a customer requests like a feature that is currently supported by your company's product, like with real estate?
This happens all the time. I mean, business needs always change.
Yeah.
I think in a long-term solution is we have to have that conversation with our programmers. We need to effectively communicate like something that could come in a future release. Since it's software, it's always changing, so that isn't too far off. But in terms of having a direct solution, it probably won't come as quick unless there's a gigantic need. We're kind of seeing that with our new product right now, where some clients are aligning with certain needs. So those types of solutions get fast tracked and they get rolled out maybe in the next couple of months, maybe in the next 2 quarters. But the thing is, there's always like some type of workaround solution for the time being,
Yeah.
If there's a will, there's a way, and we just have to find a way to get either like custom data fields mapped out so that the programmers can do some type of solution with the client, or maybe it isn't that easy and we need to just import all this information as a one-time, roll up our sleeves and get that done for setup.
Currently, what are your products in Yerder? I say company Yerder.
Oh, Yardi.
Yardi. Yeah. Currently, what are your products?
So we have a couple of products for different types of solutions. So our main one is like our accounting book software. So that's called Voyager. Then we have our other products, which would include like investment management solutions, debt management solutions. We have Rent Cafe, where residents can review their properties, pay their rent. So it's a couple of things like that, from either handling things internally on the client side to tenants being able to make payments or just communicate maintenance needs.
Okay. So with like the part of your career that has real estate in it, do you think you should, like, if I were to like want to be in your career, do you think I should like take something in like real estate in college?
I definitely think it helps. I think recently our directors made it known that they want to hire people who have a little bit more of accounting experience, would be number one. Number two would be having a little bit more of a technical expertise. So like just knowing your basic SQL queries. So I think those two are really good like skills to have. And
like, if you didn't have this career, like, what did you want to be like out of this like job? Like, what would you want to be like when you were like younger?
That's funny, because like when I was younger, I was probably thinking more like I wanted to be a psychologist. Then that turned into something more machine learning based. Then I was thinking like cybersecurity. So it's kind of always changing, Yeah. I'm that type of person where like my interests kind of change like that.
Yeah, you saw this new challenge. Okay. Can you help me through? Can you walk me through a time when you helped a client troubleshoot a complex technical issue? How did you approach it, and how did the outcome, what was the outcome?
Yeah, there was a time where it was like cross product. So like one of our other products, which is like it's called Deal Manager.
Mm.
I have little to no experience with whatever that product does, but I did know someone in that department. Um, so what I did is I took a pretty good outline of what the situation was. I talked the situation out with my contact. We figured out that there was a software bug that was limiting the client's access to be able to do what they wanted to do. Um, so in order to fix that, we had to create this stored procedure that ran daily to update the fields that they wanted in the meantime.
Okay.
The whole project probably took about 2 months. Um, but once we were done, we validated all the information. The client was happy. And then the long-term permanent solution came out about 6 months after. So we didn't need to use that workaround anymore.
That's good. Good to hear. Describe a time where you had to bridge that gap between technical and non-technical stakeholders. How did you ensure both sides were aligned together?
That happens a lot because sometimes our system admins on the client side aren't that technical. So when we do communicate things from our programmers, what we have to do is we kind of have to simplify things so that the everyday user can understand. So it's just a lot of patience, and outlining. Some people are visual, some people are the type where you have to repeat things a couple of times. So just staying cool, being patient, and outlining things as best as you can really goes a long way.
Yeah, and with that repeating, did you ever have a bad experience with the customer and they didn't want to come back?
Nothing like they didn't want to come back, but I definitely had a bad experience. A client had a bad experience with another account manager, so it lost a lot of their trust in our software. It was my responsibility to kind of start up this project with them, handle a little bit more specialized care. By the end of it, they were less hesitant about using the software and kind of understood more best practices and stuff. In those situations, they already have a lot of their preconceived sort of ideas about what we do and their reliability on the software. So it's just kind of being able to show through action and results, and then once that's done, they'll have a lot more trust.
And with that, have you had a time where you turned a dissatisfied customer into a loyal advocate?
Yeah, I'd say similar situation. With this other client, I was assigned a project to handle their a couple of projects that they needed to do, including some training on some functionality that they've never used. I'm still working with them right now, but ever since I started with their portfolio, they've been talking to their sales rep more, and they're starting to adopt more products. It's been going well so far.
That's good. How would you handle a situation where a colleague provides incorrect information to a client? How would you handle that?
That's happened, unfortunately. Really? I think I've also
I've had it here.
Been a part of that, And I think it just happens when there's so many different types of ways to get to a solution sometimes that I think we just need to take a step back. We need to reevaluate why we suggested this in the first place. Apologize to the client because obviously it wasn't the best solution that we could have provided, and then just go from there, remedy the situation, and do better next time.
Yeah. What's your approach to creating and executing strategic plans for high-value clients?
I think it's a lot of caution. You have to really understand that these high-value clients, they've been around for a while now, and the reason is because we already have a really good relationship. So that's number one. You got to maintain that relationship with them. That could be anything from almost over communicating with them, making sure that they know that you're, actively working on something for them. If it takes a little bit longer than expected, communicate that too. I think it's kind of like that white glove service. You know what I mean? You have to really just be attentive to their needs. They're paying a lot more for the software for a reason. They're paying for that type of service.
And like, how would you build like credibility and trust with clients? Like more so with the client that you kind of messed up on. Like, how did you build your credibility and your trust with them or them?
Yeah, I mean, just got to do better next time,
Yeah.
you know. And then once you show that track record of showing better results, it's quick to get them to turn around.
How do you proactively identify potential issues or areas for important improvement in a client's technical environment before they escalate?
Yeah, so in order to be proactive about it, we have these quarterly reviews of what our clients are using. We also have weekly calls where we talk about any issues that they've been seeing, any projects or initiatives. And what we do is we review them internally, either cross-product or just within our team, and we figure out if there's something that they're missing out on based on other clients that might have like similar requests, or if this has to be completely new. That's okay too, but we just have to kind of use a base as to what we could be doing better based on this problem that we've already identified, you know? Like we keep a list of any problems that we identify and we see what we can do better.
And like how would you use like what kind of methods do you use to assess clients' satisfaction and incorporate their feedback into your strategy? How do you do that?
So that would be like primarily the weekly calls and
Weekly
the
calls.
quarterly calls that we have with them. We keep that tracking list, and we kind of just keep our finger on the pulse, trying to figure out what to roll out next.
So with your career, I would say communication and adaptability is like a really big key to your career.
Yeah, definitely.
And like with that, like were you like you didn't know like where you were with the software you didn't know about, like how did you like oh wait you said that you had one of your someone you knew in that department, so you could help with that.
Yeah, so if there's something that I don't know, it's either reaching out to the network that you've already been building up, or you reach out to someone new, expand that network a little bit more inside of the company. You know, maybe someone's like an accounting expert already. You can just reach out to them, kind of learn the subject.
All right, thank you. What's your approach to creating and executing strategic plans for high value clients?
Can you repeat that one?
What's your approach to creating and executing strategic plans for high value clients?
I mean, for high value clients, it's, you know, I think I like mentioned is they're paying for a special type of service, so you just always gotta like remember that whatever they ask for, there is going to be a solution for it. You might have to bring in more technical resources for it. Maybe even bring in a little bit more of like the executive leadership. Figure out if there's some way that we can fast track solutions. Like we have these things called hot fixes. One of my high value clients, they have this issue where their payments aren't being allocated correctly by our software. So in order to combat that, there is a hot fix that we rolled out specifically for them so that they could, you know, correctly have these things apply. And it's all about doing this as quickly but also as cautiously as possible. But you just got to kind of put them at the top of your priority list.
Yeah. And with that, what steps do you take to ensure your clients are continuously seeing value from your product or service over time?
It's a mixture of that proactive response and that reactive response, you know.
Yeah.
If they enter something in that's critical or higher priority, then you just got to get on top of that as soon as possible. Proactive responses, you can see something that they've been dealing with a couple of times, maybe a reoccurring issue. You report it internally and you figure out a more long-term solution. The client will be grateful that you were able to do that.
Okay. How do you work with cross-functional teams, like example, sales, product, and engineering, to deliver a seamless customer experience?
I think it just goes to willingness to actually communicate with them. A lot of them are so willing to like talk to you, help you understand the system a little bit more for other products that you may not have an understanding of. If you hear something that the client says and you have no idea what it is, most of the time if you reach out to one of those team members about the issue, they might have a solution that you didn't even think about. So just not being afraid to reach out to the appropriate parties.
How do you prepare for a high stakes client presentation or quarterly business review?
It's kind of just doing a system review internally. So you and your manager or you yourself to do it. You identify any processes through cases that may have been logged. You take a look at their system performance over the past last 12 months to 24 months. You look at any tasks that have been running, figure out if there's something else that you can optimize. We have these data points that we run for these reviews, and you can get an idea as to what's been improving side by side from the last time that you did one of the reviews, and you can drill in on those.
You think that quarterly business reviews are really key to you, you and your career?
I think so, because it builds confidence to talk to the C-suite and professional settings. It not only boosts your relationship with the client, but I think it boosts your relationship with yourself. Being comfortable enough to talk to someone. Just instilling some type of confidence in yourself that you can do whatever you set your mind to. Really.
That sounds good. How do you identify and act early on warning signs that a client might churn?
That a client might what?
I might churn.
I think it's just identifying the red flags, seeing what we can do better. Most likely, there's going to be some type of solution that we can offer. If they're thinking about a competitor, there's ways that we can, turn the ship around by offering something that the competitor doesn't.
Yeah, that's really key, huh? Because have you ever had clients that have been driven away to other competitors?
Not specifically, but actually, I do have a client that is in the middle of choosing between us and a competitor. So what we're doing is on Thursday we're actually flying out there to do a business review.
Oh. You guys for your you would do international business, you fly?
So for this client, we're actually just going up to San Francisco. But certain departments in our company, they have international travel.
That sounds nice.
So the same thing that we're doing, right? Where it's you just go out there, you show face, and you spend the day going over their system and what we can do better.
Yeah. At FRE, have you ever where is the coolest place you ever traveled to, for a client?
Honestly, I think this one's gonna be it. I'm really looking forward to this one. Yeah, going up to San Fran would be fun.
You never been to San Fran?
I've been to San Fran, but this part of San Fran is gonna be Mountain View, right next to where the Google offices and stuff like that.
Over there.
Yeah, because they own those properties. So looking forward to that. I guess they're close by to it.
Yeah. So where are you from? Where did you go to college, and where did you go to high school?
So I'm from the San Fernando Valley, so maybe 20 minutes up north from LA. And I currently live in LA, but for college I went to UCR, Riverside. Yeah. And for high school I went to Cleveland High School out in Reseda, California.
How do you advocate for clients internally while balancing the needs of your company?
That's a good question, because there has to be that balance, right? Unless they are those high profile clients where their business needs really do have some type of weight that sometimes goes above what we would think the company weight is. I think it all comes down to client demand, right? So maybe a client really wants some type of functionality, but it just isn't possible to add into the software just yet. We can keep that tracking request open. It's we report the bug, and depending on how many other clients have the same type of issue or how long it's been open, then that's how we can say, okay, this is enough of a request to actually, rope this into the next update or something.
And when you were my age, 16, what were you doing?
Dude, I'm a toe dipper, so I was just doing everything. I was primarily into photography, finishing up my high school. I wasn't really thinking about long-term career in that sense. I was just ready to try everything I could in college. So I started college a neuroscience degree. I did 2 years. Then I said, I don't want to invest myself too into this neuroscience degree because I don't know if I want to do this long term. Um,
Yeah.
so I switched to psychology, finished that up, and kind of keep taking courses or doing things until I figure out exactly what I want to do long term.
When you were younger, did you ever think you would be in the positions you are right now?
I knew I would be in some type of corporate position. In terms of commercial real estate, no, I had no idea I would be doing commercial real estate.
What's your approach to collaborating with product engineering teams to influence the roadmap based on client feedback?
I mean, it's really important, right? Like, we're the ones that have the face-to-face time with clients. So it's just keeping a clear outline as to what the clients are actually asking for. Kind of mapping out exactly how we can get there, even if it's not technical. As long as we kind of show a good relationship, it helps our product engineering team make things a little bit more feasible. You know, sometimes they'll bounce back a request and they'll be like, okay, but how did you get to this point? You go back to the client, you kind of communicate that request, and then you're like, okay, this is what I found from the client. What do you think now? And the product engineering team will be like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Like, let's do this.
And with that, do you enjoy what you're doing right now?
Yes and no, because I mean, like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, like, I like to be challenged.
Yeah, you want something new.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm always looking for something new, you know.
So like,
I'm happy because it's a comfortable job. I work from home. Work both technical and customer success, but I'm always looking for something new.
So like you're a go-getter.
Try to be.
With that, it's like, do you have like, to round this all off, do you have like any advice for me?
Yeah, don't be afraid to try any opportunity that you can. At first, like, you'll say, oh, this isn't what I pictured my life to be at this point. But because you're 16, and even when you're 21 or 22, whatever age you're getting out of college, those opportunities are going to come, and just invite them. You know, try everything out. It's going to help you in the long term for your career. And when you're my age, 27, a lot could change. So, you know, just invite it.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for your time. That's it.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, David.
You're welcome.
Good meeting you, dude.
Thank you. My aunt is the one who referred you, Daisy Martinez.
Yeah, you kind of look like her, dude.
Really? Yeah, she's my Nina.
Yeah, you kind of look like her. She said something about, like, because we saw each other in the office for like the first time, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half ago or 2 years. And she was like, dude, you look like my nephew. I was like, what, really? Yeah, I feel like we kind of look similar.
Yeah, I said too.
That's funny, bro. Good meeting you, dude. Let me know. Text me if you ever need anything, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. Bye, David.
Bye.